Team Spirit's
Go
turn.
Jiro.
Chris Smile
Told him
wins
that
it.
last night.
Nice little Pangolier.
Okay, I like this. Good team fight. It's gonna be magic immune, disrupt the team fight, pressure, Grimstroke, SD. I like
I'm
it.
very afraid for Team Spirit because CK and Slaughter, even though they have strong lanes, that doesn't instantly
10
pivot to
seconds
invading
remaining.
the jungle and taking fight. It's more use that success to find your next item.
5 seconds
And that is a
remaining.
window in which a Pangolier, the Snap, the Tiny, these heroes, they can run at you. So the supports as well on Spirit might have a little bit of trouble in these earlier fights positioning.
And here's the S-King. You called it. There will be a Sand King.
SK mid then?
Yep.
Yeah, it is
Yep.
gonna be
Mid
SK
Sand King. That gives them some team fight.
East Coast is waiting.
And tower defense as well. The early Sandstorm defending these towers.
Secondary initiator too with the Inkswall. Pretty powerful.
All right. Prediction.
I actually do kind of favor Beast Coast lineup.
You're going
because-
BC?
Yeah, they've hit the heroes that they want to be able to skirmish. The last time that Beast Coast had success was that victory against EG with this exact style. It was Bloodseeker, Snap, Batrider. They had two different heroes, but the element of winning lanes and just pivoting throughout the map, they played it exceptionally. And maybe Spirit's a little bit too weak. They rely on kind of time to get online. But they're
Okay.
very good then still.
I like the Beast Coast draft. I think it's a little better. I'm not the biggest fan of SK mid, but I just feel like Team Spirit's gonna beat them. I just have a
Just
hard
think
time saying anything
they're
else.
that bit better.
Yeah, I just think they're gonna play in late game, especially with all these instant stuns.
Yankees.
All right. My terrible useless take on this, as I can't see the drafts, I'll try to remember, is I think that Beast Coast, I really like the Pango. I like the fact that there are 3 melee cores against him. I think he deals really well with them. However, I don't think Beast Coast is going to make it through the laning stage. I think Spirit's laning is really strong, and they're going to win off of that.
Okay. Well, with that all being said, let's throw it over to our casters. It's Shannon, Suns fan, and it is Trolls, Cinderin. See you soon.
Thank you very much. Shannon, Suns fan with Cinderin here
I was gonna say he said your name a little bit better.
for
That's
the
okay.
best of 3 between Beast Coast and Team Spirit. The lower bracket loser goes home or just stays in Stockholm for a little bit longer without playing Dota.
The loser goes Stockholm.
Wow, that was actually a good pun. I feel like you shouldn't do that this early because now it's just downhill from here.
I think it can only get better.
Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree on that as we're in the game now. So Bloodseeker, I have to say, East Coast draft, this is going to sound negative at first. It's quite cheesy, I feel like, but I love that because I agree with the panel that Spirit are probably just a better team overall. This is going to be kind of an uphill battle, but you have so many different synergies with Bloodseeker Rupture. You got the toss, you got the lasso, you have even Scatterblast if you get the shard later on. Like, very cool stuff from Beast Coast. It feels a very aggressive lineup as well.
Yeah, and it's them, right? This is their team identity. This is the kind of lineup that I want to see Beast Coast running. Team Spirit, I think, have I don't want to call it a stronger draft, but it's very meta with this, like a lot of these stuns, these skirmish combinations, the Chaos Knight, which is an absolute top tier pick right now that they got their hands on. But I think the type of lineup Beast Coast has is one that can dismantle these heavy stun early pressure lineups, just because I think both Pango and Batrider are total wildcards in a game like this. With some sort of momentum, with the right items, they can just outpace Spirit's lineup actually. But at the same time, I think Jenkins was very right about this. If Spirit win their lanes, it's going to be an uphill battle for Beast Coast the whole way to recover, because the heroes don't play very well from behind.
Yeah. But we'll see if they can get out of the laning stage. And Team Spirit, even though they're in the lower bracket, they have looked pretty good. It's not like TI level good, but I think some other people have thought the same thing, where they have kind of picked some stuff that maybe isn't normal for them. It feels like they're maybe slightly experimenting. I don't know if that's not giving their opponents enough credit, but some of it has definitely not worked the way that they were at least originally hoping for, because if it were, they wouldn't be in the lower bracket already.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I feel like Team Spirit overall have still looked pretty good. It's just not like perhaps that elite level you're expecting. But this is a team that can recover and pick up steam during the tournament. At TI as well, they weren't one of the favorites by any means. And they just, went on a hot streak, started getting really, really good and having some very good ideas. I would also say out of the CIS or Eastern European region, they're probably the team that is the most creative, which is very important if you want to go for deep runs in a tournament. The guy you saw in the picture there just a moment ago, Toro, had the most ridiculous hero pool at TI, played so many different carries, so they weren't like pigeonholed in their strategic.
Wasn't it like all the way, like in a playoff stages at TI, it was something like he hadn't picked a duplicate hero until like lower bracket finals or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
I think he played 14 different heroes in a row or something on carry, which he's not the only player in the world that can do that, but there's very few teams that are willing to draft like that, where they have that many strategies and that much confidence in mixing things up. So that also has me confident that if Spirit get off to a good start in this series and ultimately perhaps win it, then they're the kind of team that can build.
I mean, that's another thing.
Go for a deep run from round one.
We've kind of talked about before, just the flexibility of players, not just the ability to play them, but like you said, the teams willing to pick it. Because if you look at, not to harp on EG, but picking very similar heroes every game, it doesn't mean they can't play other heroes, because we've seen them dominate, like whether it's Abed or Arteezy. But if you're only picking the same things in officials, then I feel like long term that's not a good idea.
And I think a lot of the teams you've seen have success at TI. It's not always like this, because there's been different versions, right? You would have, for example, at earlier TIs like TI3, Alliance didn't have an enormous hero pool, but they just had so many. Oh, hang on. Wait.
Yeah,
Gojira.
Huge trouble. I was gonna say he's dead. Cinder gets it. Okay, the avalanche was quite good, but he's gonna get chased by the entirety of Team Spirit. There's the crush. Smile is in the area. Okay, Cookie might save him for a little bit. Gojira looks to be A-okay. I was incorrect as always, Cinderin. Just taking words out of your mouth now. Chaos Bolt holds Smile in place. Miposhka getting chased down by Whisper in the meantime.
I think he's dead.
Lots of damage being done. Miposhka, sticky napalm, avalanche to follow, and first blood the way of Beast Coast. And of course, of all the people to get it, is the one that they had originally initiated on, Gojira.
Yeah, and honestly, just uncharacteristic there from Team Spirit. They did not have the clutch timing of the disruption into Slithering Crush.
Yeah.
He mistimed it. He got stunned by the Tiny, and they get to create the distance. They have to chase very far to get the Chaos Bolt, and it gives time for rest of Beast Coast to reinforce and save there. So starting off the game with a mistake like that, not a disaster by any means for Spirit, but no, that's one of those things where you just feel like they usually don't miss those, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
A little bit of mistiming.
Let's talk about this mid lane.
We're in the morning.
This is the strangest mid lane that we've seen in a little bit. We got the Pango mid for Chris Smile and Toronto Tokyo playing the Sand King. So typically Pango, it feels like a hero that just tries to survive against most matches, but against melee, maybe a little bit better off. But then again, it is a Sand King who loves playing against melee because of the caustic finale.
I think this lane is super difficult for Pango. I'm curious to see how Toronto skills this, if he's just going to max out Burrow Strike actually with just 1 point Caustic, or if he's going to put more points in Sandstorm, because I think it can be really oppressive in this lane. Whenever Pango goes for CS, just stun him, hit him, get a Caustic proc on a creep, and you just control the lane very, very well. So far so good though for Chris here. 6 CS to the 7 of Toronto Tokyo, so pretty even. But I would imagine this is only going to get worse. And Sand King obviously also very good at farming the small side camp. So one luxury you do have as a mid Sand King is you push out the wave exceptionally fast. And you can easily start stacking that small camp minute 2. And it's blocked for neither team. So I think Toronto should come out with an advantage here. He's missed one creep from the first 3 waves.
Yeah, 11-1 versus the, I guess, soon to be 8-0 for Pango. Yeah, we'll see how this progresses. I mean, Pango is not a hero that can take the little camps as fast as Sand King. Is Gojira getting gone on here? Shadow Poison's applied. That'll be a death one way or the other. So Team Spirit now on the board. See the stack successful for Toronto Tokyo. Now, talk to me about just mid Sand King in general, because as we're seeing a lot of damage to the Caustic Finale, but it's essentially the same build as off lane, but you're just getting your items way faster, is my experience from seeing this.
It's fine. And then you have the luxury, because you're getting items faster, then when you get to the later portions of the game, you can start getting luxury items that Sand King 3s usually don't get, like Octarine Core, for example, so you have the stun more frequently, or you can start building in towards like whatever utility your team needs. You can buy Hex. In some cases, you might even see Sand King upgrade a potential Yules into Wind Waker. You know, all these like options that you have that sometimes have value. Right. This is a potential nice Wind Waker game, right, against Batrider, for example. So perhaps we're going to see that later on.
Yeah, very true. That's
Ultra gonna go for Tars.
Yeah. Whisper. Toro gets tossed into the avalanche. He has 4 stacks of sticky napalm. I think that Beast Coast want to try to focus on him. Sticky napalms continue to come from Whisper. Looks like they might get a residual kill onto Gojira, but look, 6 stacks on Yotaro. Just a couple more right clicks, but Whisper, he needs the vision, and he'll get it finally with that last right click. It's a 2-for-1 across the board because of the bot lane. Oh. That is a big kill on the CK.
I love the way Beast Coast set that up. This is how you want to play your Bat Rider dual lane off lane. You want to get that big wave into tower, and then you want to go for the dive when you have 2 or 3 stickies. Spirit's lane, fortunately for them, and obviously something they've set up, both have counters to Bat in the sense that there's a stun and a disrupt, so they delayed the kill a lot and got the trade. And now Yotaro's back. We'll get another one here. We'll go to Mipushka though.
And bot lane, we've seen quite a bit of action as well as the Inkswell onto Collapse with the bash. Doing quite a bit of damage to Stinger on that Snapfires. K1 bucked up a decent amount. It's going to get crushed though. I already popped the Fairy Fire, and that last right click from Collapse from basically 400 range as a melee. He'll take that every single time. Cookie though, nice turnaround from Stinger. Nice little outplay there for him. But bad news in terms of the Bloodseeker, K1 dying there.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the harder lane matchups you can have as a safe lane Bloodseeker. Slardar is extremely powerful against basically every melee hero in the game and that plays in the safe lane. And you're seeing why. You combo that with a Grimstroke, that's the longest range melee hit you'll probably see today.
Very slow motion as well.
But it was there.
And that mid lane, I mean, look at the CS, Synderin. That is quite the catch-up right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Chris Smile, 37-3 to 33-1.
Did he steal some of the small camp? We might have not caught that on camera. Like maybe he went over while Sanking was farming this and he actually just grabbed it.
Right. I feel like that must be the case.
That has to be what happened.
If you look at the net worth, they're dead even. So
yeah,
not as big of a discrepancy as we were originally thinking. So that's really good news for Beast Coast. But still Spirit with a 1K lead relatively early on, as we can actually see the graph here. Very nice.
Oh, Stinger's in trouble.
Yeah, there. That's the early roll from C Smile. That's going to be enough to save his comrade. And in fact, turn this around into Collapse completely. Nicely done from Beast Coast.
Yeah, getting that early level 6 on the Pango. Got it before the Sanking by quite a bit. So again, I think just stole that stack and puts it to great use here. So nice rotation, turning what would have been an easy Snapfire kill for Team Spirit into a death on the Slardar and bringing K1 into a better position. They're very well aware that this lane is very important and difficult. Oh,
yeah, that's good. Daro trying to help out Mipushka. Of course, no more mana for the Avalanche from Gojira. They couldn't really follow it up with much more. But this top lane, you can see Yotaro's CS sitting at 25-8, and then on the bottom lane, K1 26-3 on the Bloodseeker. So mid lane and safe lane, in terms of the carry and mids, are essentially a wash, Synderin. And if we look at the off laners, 2,500 net worth for Collapse on that Slardar, and then on the other, I have to hold that thought though. Smiles come to the top lane. Nice avalanche onto 2 again. Beautifully done. Mipushka is dead, but a nice TP out. Looks like that'll be enough to save Yotaro on the CK.
I actually think they could have got both kills if he hadn't avalanche. I think the toss itself was so good in repositioning the Chaos Knight that if he waits on the stun, they're going to get more value out of that. They just need a TP cancel. Yotaro immediately identifies every single TP cancel is out of play, so he just gets back to base straight away.
And Toronto Tokyo came towards the bottom lane, working on a Blink Dagger right now. So no big surprise, obviously. And obviously we've already seen the Inkswell, but this is a very good Inkswell setup game between a Slardar, who eventually will get Blink, Sanking, who eventually gets Blink. In terms of, I mean, we talked about the Burrow for Soulbind being a decent I think we talked about that. Do you end up at the secondary target? Is that how it works?
I'm pretty sure if you target one of the heroes, you will stun to the other one, but if you ground target, you don't, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. But again, it's one of those mechanics that might have been changed over time. Like maybe my memory of it is outdated or whatever. It's not something you see every day. I do think you can combine it with Burrow Strike.
Now we're gonna see the Chaos Bolt into nothing. I mean, another one, it's not as flashy, but Corrosive Haze on 2 heroes.
I was gonna say
really,
that too. It is
really
actually
good.
very nice. When you're playing against these lineups with multiple melee cores, it's pretty likely you get 2 melee cores bound together. Getting that Corrosive Haze on both of them immediately is very good news for Yatoro.
Yeah, we see the Flame Break into an instant Phantasm from Yatoro. And dissuade Beast Coast from coming any further. And he is working on his armlet, already finished the Orb of Corrosion. In terms of like itemization for, let's just look at it from Beast Coast perspective, since we do think that they're the underdogs overall. Is there a go time for them this game? Like, are you waiting for, I mean, Pango's getting the defusal. Is that, do you need a Blink Dagger on top of that before you get ultra aggressive, where you start like maybe 5-manning a bit?
I think most importantly, you fight around Batrider, more so than Pango. What you want is for Batrider to start dealing damage to multiple heroes in the fight and ramp it up so that Bloodseeker can become the cleanup crew. I think the way you do this is you wait for Bat's first item, which in this case seems to be the drum that Whisper's going to go for, not Boots of Travel, but rather a more early game-centric item build. Oh, Miposhka gonna get tossed, and a toss.
Back into the arms of the Bat. And that is a lasso death. Miposhka takes a tumble.
Miposhka pinging the top tier 1 tower. He wants them to defend, it seems. They don't have siege creep here, so this siege is probably not going to happen. Almira as well.
He is very dead. Could barely even get the Inkswell off on time.
Chris is owning on this Pango so far. He's been in 4 kills. One of them was obviously the first blood, so let's discount that. So let's say 3. Toronto Tokyo's been way more quiet, just taking more of a farming route, but he still has less CS than Chris, who's been involved in all these kills. So finding very good efficiency around the map on Pango.
I mean, that puts even more pressure on Toronto Tokyo to have good success, to get instant success, if you will, with this Blink Dagger that is coming any second now. 80 gold away from finishing it. So I would expect a smoke pretty fast from Spirit in the next few seconds.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
There's that full drum for Whisper. This is a pretty strong timing already for their lineup, actually. Tiny has some levels. You have a Batrider with drums. You have the Pango level 10 coming up on Diffusal very, very soon. So I could see them start looking to make an aggressive play top, maybe kill Toronto Tokyo, or rather kill Yatoro and take that tower. And this is when Sand King needs to start coming in clutch for them. They do have the Blink Dagger now on Toronto, so...
Is under attack.
Yep, Yatoro finds Gojira. Toronto Tokyo in the area, gets off the burrow as well. But the toss back into the arms of Whisper again. He doesn't really want to go on Toronto Tokyo, especially with that set he has equipped. Very fearsome indeed. There's like dragon scales on that mount. All right, there's the smoke. So Toronto Tokyo, don't believe the blink was shown. Could be wrong on that. Smoking up with Mira though. Gonna be sitting behind the CK, as they know the Batrider was in this area. This would be a very big kill for Team Spirit, as this game is essentially a wash right now in terms of just net worth overall.
Radiant.
So I think Beast Coast kind of dodged the first bullet, right, with not having a bad landing
Wrapping around.
stage.
Whisper gets burrowed. Inkswell to follow. Toronto Tokyo's here as well, but here comes Smile. Oh, there it is. The Soulbind. Great counter to the Pangolier. Gets silenced a little bit late. You see the Mortimer's Kisses here. So it looks like Mira might be the sacrifice. So likely to be a 1-for-1. They just right-click down very casually. Pops the Fairy Fire. Just to live for one more attack, Cinder. The Tokyo, okay. It's taking a little bit long. They have the sentry there. He's just gonna get bursted down very easily. So Chris Smile again, double kill for him. He is having himself a game.
I'm pretty surprised Toronto Tokyo stuck around for that. That seemed very high risk, low reward. I guess to an extent he's delaying this tower push, but once again there's no siege creep, so I don't think this was really going to get that dangerous regardless.
Yep, Collapse trying to bait this in a bit. Does a very nice job with the help of with Yatoro, able to destroy Whisper, and now they probably just go for this tier 1 tower in the bot lane, which is likely not to be defended. Inkswell from Mira. He has some backup on the way. There's the Blink Dagger being shown by Collapse again. So the double Blink Dagger online for Spirit. Now expect the aggression to increase tenfold.
Yeah, you don't have the most resources right now on C-Smile. If he TP's bottom, he's going to be low on mana, so I think he's just going to concede this tower. That was the one hero that could defend bottom, probably, is that Pango, but Oh, it does. Also
Radiant's
doesn't look
bottom
like Spirit are
tower
putting
is under
that much
attack.
pressure on it. They're taking their time. They're not completely sure whether there's going to be a defense mounted, but now Yatoro
Radiant's
will get to
middle
work.
tower is under attack.
They're scanning behind just in case there's a rotation coming from Beast Coast, but there isn't. Now they're going to see them on the ward as well and feel very safe about this
Radiant's
move.
bottom tower
Yep, so
is
even
under
trade,
attack.
Yatoro gets the last hit.
Is falling.
And he did finish the Orb of Corrosion first, but actually, did he change his mind with his build at all? Echo
Dire's
Saber looks to be
top tower
coming.
is under
Just
attack.
finished the Armlet. So pretty standard build overall from...
Seems like a very strong BKB game to me. I'm not sure if he's gonna do the Echo on the way. I also don't know if it's necessary. So Echo obviously is a pretty big damage increase, but you're playing with Slargar, so I don't know if it's like overkill, and you'd be better off just guaranteeing that you get the actual hits in with the BKB.
Are they baiting this illusion?
Let's see.
Oh, but they know. Smoke does not pop, so they realize it's an illusion.
Found the right one here though.
East Coast, looking for Collapse. He gets a quick blink off. There's the drugs to try to catch up. Collapse
hold on.
no sprint for another second, and that might cost him his life. So he's going to get tossed and destroyed in midair. Toronto Tokyo gets... Okay, he epicentered in place. Didn't find anything with that. And C-Smile staying on a little too long, I feel like. Phantom's Embrace stuck in place as a result. So it's a 1-for-1, and now on the run is Team Spirit. The Mortimer Skills doing a lot of damage to Toronto Tokyo. There's the lasso inside that blood right. Nice setup overall. Double kill for K1 as he's trying to clean up the rest of Team Spirit. Triple kill K1. It is a 4-for-1 for Beast Coast, and they're going to get an ancient stack on top of this.
Can we get a replay of that? Did he take any damage on Sand King? Like, you can choose to cancel it if you don't want it to go off, you know, but he did the full channel and then he just stood there.
Yeah, that
was
wild.
really weird. I don't think anything is hitting Toronto Tokyo. He's going to FP here.
FB.
There is nothing on him at all. And he's just like, okay, no valid target. So that's where you usually just cancel it, right?
Yeah.
It's like he got caught in...
Maybe he thought, maybe his
know.
Blink Dagger was still on cooldown for some reason, and he thought it wasn't. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, that cost them dearly. A completely wasted Sand King ult. And Beast Coast, I mean, they're taking full advantage of this. A little sloppy play from Team Spirit. Panel kind of talked about Toronto Tokyo looks a little tired sometimes. Been yawning. Well, I can't remember if it was him that we're talking about. Somebody on Team Spirit. To wake up, Cinderin.
That definitely seemed like a little bit of a facepalm moment. Again, I don't know, like, maybe he was, you know, sometimes you start channeling your ult, you see the opportunity, and then the half second later when your channel is finished, the opportunity is gone, but you've gone through it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like he was expecting someone to combine with Tiny, and then when there wasn't, he didn't want to jump on a solo Tiny and just expose himself entirely and ends up just throwing it away instead. So, also a great showcase, that fight of how Batrider and Bloodseeker synergize so amazingly, right? Like just really just getting in there, getting that
Pop,
down.
Avatar back into the fray. Easy kill again for Beast Coast.
Yep.
They have a 2K lead now.
It's really cool to see how Schofield utilizes Tiny. I feel like out of all teams in this tournament,
Dire's middle tower
almost
is
nobody
under
plays
attack.
Tiny 4. But Beast Coast are just finding a way when they run this hero to have major impact.
Yeah, and he's been doing that without a Blink Dagger, which he
Radiant
now
structures
has.
are
It's only going to get
fortified.
easier now. I think if you're Team Spirit, it's not going to be the most obvious read in this situation because you have a lineup that wants to play really aggressive, right? You have like all these stuns, these spell combinations, high burst damage, but it might be ill-advised to look for too many fights right now that there's a BKB on Bloodseeker. You're fighting into a very strong Pango. Perhaps you're better off farming
Dire's middle
yourselves
tower
your
is
own
under
BKBs
attack.
so that you can stand your ground
Radiant's
against
top
every hero the
tower is
Radiant
under
has to
attack.
offer here. And I think Beast Coast have the same idea. They're like, we're stronger right now. We're going to make a move. Rotating top. If Yatoro goes for this wave, he is instantly going to be dead.
Well, K1, he's going to get initiated on. Oh, okay. BKB pop instantly. Nicely timed as C-Smile pops that Rolling Thunder, gets a kill as a result. Collapse is dead as well as Team Spirit just getting crushed in this fight. Yatoro is next. Completely disastrous from Team Spirit's perspective. And Beast Coast increased their lead even more. K1, I believe that was the first use of that newly picked up BKB.
Yep.
And he is quite farmed. The only one in the 5-digit realm in the net worth.
Thanks.
It's okay. This is a little bit of a sidetrack. Isn't it just cool to look at this? If you look at this draft from the Radiant, do you feel like any other team in this tournament will play this? Oh, Whisper's actually going to find Toronto. We'll wait on that. Gets the epi off.
Dire's structures are
Actually doesn't get the epi off. You can't
Dire's
split.
that-
middle tower
okay,
is
am
under
I-
attack.
I feel like he did not pop the BKB first. I think the stun projectile was gonna hit him, then he got reality rifted, and then the stun had to travel even longer, and that gave him time to BKB. Does that make sense?
I know what you're saying, yeah.
Watch it right here. Look at the stun from CK. That will hit him. Then he gets
it
reality
go
rifted,
back around. You're
and then
right.
he has to pop BKB.
Didn't they also miss the Slaughter Crush? He pulled him out of the crush here.
Yes, that was a that was really unfortunate.
That is actually about as bad as that can go. I didn't notice that in the heat of the moment, but yeah, that's pretty huge.
I mean, he was not getting BKB 100% there.
Back to what I was saying, is there any other team in this tournament that was first phase of Bloodseeker?
No, I don't think so.
Like it's just really cool to see
Usually
these
like a
coaches
counter
have a
maker.
totally different, like a really different take on certain strategies that they run, and they're just making it work.
Yeah.
That's the sign of a strong team. They have a very clear identity. They're not just doing the quote-unquote same meta stuff as everyone else. That's also selling those players short, obviously, but it's just I look at this strategy. I'm like, this is the only team that will play this, and that's always good to see. Sometimes it also looks terrible. Let's be honest. Sometimes these regions come in with strategies.
Yeah.
Whatever region it is, come in with an idea that's very different from the rest, and it can fall just as flat as it can look amazing. So definitely have their finger on the pulse here.
That is very true. Beast Coast now sporting a 5K net worth lead. And we'll see if they're able to ramp this up even more. Question is, I mean, how good of a Roche team do they have? Pango's decent. Snapfire's decent. It's not the best, but they have some minus armor at the very least. It's not, I mean, Team Spirit could do it way faster, for sure. So that's one way for Team Spirit to potentially get back in this game, as we have the Epicenter used successfully with the Inkswell. See Smiles dead.
That's a lot of damage. That was very nicely done. You know, it's pretty simple. Epicenter with the Inkswell on top. Just get nice and easy, quick kill and get out. Don't give Beast Coast any chance for a rebuttal. Maybe they're going to use this to lead into Roche. Yeah, Chris doesn't have buyback on Pango, so if your Beast Coast you smoke over here and you try to scout it with Napalm and you just go from there, you have a very good Roche contesting team even without the Pango.
Kisses are ready. They know they're in the area. Flame Break doesn't bounce them completely out. There's the Avatar. Another time just kill Toronto Tokyo. Looks like Yatoro ends up getting the Aegis. Team Spirit with the kill on Rochan as well. Soulbind onto 2, but Toronto Tokyo ends up taking a tumble shortly after. 2 for 0 right now as Beast Coast looking pretty good in this fight. Whisper creating enough distance as well. So double kill for K1. They get a bunch of kills, but don't get the Aegis. Still, that increases the lead for Beast Coast. That was all without a Pangolier.
Yep. It's all about the area, and it's about their spell casting, right? They get a really good avalanche. They get insane amount of damage out from the Mortimer's Kisses, and that's just cleanup crew for K1. It's so nice to play Bloodseeker when even your supporting cast has massive AoE damage that you can rely on. And that's why I feel like if you're Spirit, you gotta... I understand they take this Roche, and I think this trade for them is actually okay-ish because they keep the Aegis. But you need those BKBs so you can mitigate support damage from the enemy team, and that way you counter Bloodseeker.
Yeah.
He's just way too strong when they have 2 or 3 heroes on half health. He's just running.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see another potential kill onto the Pango. Nice avalanche though, creates a little bit of space, but the BKB's popped and then he dies right after. That is really unfortunate for Beast Coast. As you see the bash connect onto Gojira with the Blood Right. Looks like that might create enough space, although I say that, but the Makoshka ult comes in. World Strike is there as well, and that is another deletion of a Beast Coast hero. Beast Coast need to reset as the BKB popped on the Bloodseeker as well. So a couple very defensive BKBs that didn't really end up doing much for Beast Coast. And this will buy Spirit a little bit more time. The Age is still there, obviously. You talked about the BKBs being built for Collapse and the CK. See, how close are they actually?
Yatoro has his, he disassembled the Echo.
Yeah. And Collapse still a decent amount away from finishing that. But that's going to be a huge power spike for them to get the tier 1 tower to boot.
Radiant structures
Nice little exchange there for Team Spirit. That's a couple times now that the Pango has gotten caught off guard. 2 big kills for Team Spirit, and they're going to smoke up.
And you see his itemization, right? It's like, even though I have BKB, I still want a Lincolns. They need solutions for these instant stuns. It's the exact same build that Chris Luck went for as well here. Or, sorry, not Chris Luck, K1 on the Bloodseeker. BKB Lincolns on him. So,
yeah,
very
Lincoln's
clear idea.
A lot, actually.
It does, which is both good and bad, right?
Yeah, it could be bad. It does not block the secondary Soulbind, I believe.
Correct. It blocks the primary one, and it will block a Sand King stun opener, but it will not block the Starter stun opener.
Right.
And that can be enough time for Collapse to break the Linken's with a Corrosive Haze, and then you can follow up stun with Sand King. So it's you're by no means safe with this item combination, actually. The Wraith Pact on Snapfire is, however, a very big item that we haven't really talked about enough in this game. I think what it does.
What do you think about an item like Linken's that you apply to your enemy and the enemy cannot buff that hero?
It's kind of nullifier, right?
Shut up, Cinder.
I mean, it's a good idea, though.
That feels like a right-click build.
That is a great idea. They should have come up with that three years ago and put it in the game.
It's like Lotus. Like Lotus is a support item, right? Utility. Nullify. That's for your carry to get.
Yeah.
You know.
So you mean a nullifier for supports, basically?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can get the demonic cleanse for your teammates, I guess. I haven't really gotten to see that one too much from Shadow Demon.
Pretty sure he is gonna buy the shard here, but maybe he waits and gets dagger first. I'm not completely sure.
Yep, has the Aether Lens right now.
The cleanse does look nice in this game.
Yep, takes off what? Lucky Shot, the silence from Bloodright.
Batrider Napalm.
Yep, Napalm is a big one. The debuff from Little Shredder. And not too shabby. So 5k lead for Beast Coast, and as we progress into the mid game, Cinderin, and approaching the late game at some point, which lineup do you like more on paper? Like, how well does the Bloodseeker scale these days?
He scales really well, and again, just to emphasize, the way their lineup works is really set up to make that hero shine. So I don't see this game expiring for Beast Coast, really. For me, the biggest concern I had for their strategy was how well are they going to get out of the laning stage, and they basically drew it, right? And then they started taking initiative after 10 minutes with some great rotations. So I definitely think this is up in the air the whole way, especially when they're itemizing correctly. I do think this BKB Linken's build is the way to go here. So they're going to have a lot of longevity. And the real challenge for them, to be honest, will be overcoming BKBs. If Team Spirit's BKBs run out during a fight and they don't find key kills, and then they start taking damage from spells, they're going to get destroyed over time.
Right.
So they really need, Spirit needs to initiate fights, find a key pick instantly, and then make sure they get their money's worth out of the BKBs to find a secondary. And that's also not factoring in buybacks, right? Which is going to be a factor in this game, as it always is. If you have a lineup that needs to pop all these BKBs in the initiation, and you do find a nice kill, well, if that hero buys back and has Boots of Travel or something and reconnects, I do have Beast Coast favored in that type of fight. So really a delicate balance.
Boots of Bearing online for Whisper, my boy.
He's had it for a while. He got the BKB.
Online for quite a while now, those Boots of Bearing.
He got the BKB though. 9-seconder.
It is a good combo.
Yeah.
For any slow, I guess. Demonic Purge should purge the that active, I would think.
Yeah, they just want drums all game, I think. And the movement speed, obviously, on Batrider is very good. This is a great Batrider item. The reason you don't see it very often is that most Batriders are played in mid and they go Boots of Travel. But I really do like this way of playing Batrider more personally as well. It doesn't mean it, like, I don't think it's better, it's just different. And Whisper is a player who does a really good job about playing around fight-centric builds.
Floating skull there. The Wraithfire.
Very pretty.
The Wraithfire Pact. That would be interesting. That would be the upgrade to the Wraith.
Can we get a zoom in on that?
Oh boy, we're gonna miss a fight here. That is fearsome. A glowing, hovering skull. Probably reused assets from something else.
It's very inanimated, isn't it?
I don't think that Valve thinks they're keeping this in the game. Oh, okay, Crush comes in from Collapse, trying to focus on the Bloodseeker. He gets tossed back though. Soulbind onto 2, but a nice reset from Beast Coast. They are going to lose their Tiny, though. And Smile gets off a really good rolling thunder. The buyback's tilted now onto the Tiny, but you can see already 2 supports dead for Spirit. There's the lasso. That is on the CK. He's inside the Blood Rite as well. He's going to be left to his own devices. Double kill for K1 as Beast Coast are crushing this fight again. And that's a dieback now from Aposhka as this lead gets extended even further. They lose, I believe, only 1 hero, which was Gojira, who bought back in the game.
Great fight as well there from K1. He identifies immediately where the real CK is. He ruptures him, and that's just took Toro out of the fight. This hero is dependent on mobility, and he gets ruptured, and then he gets lassoed and pulled up to the high ground. They just kill him, no problem. And that was the perfect case example of what I was talking about, right? If Team Spirit don't find the kill in the initiation and they use their BKBs, the moment they run out, it's just they get absolutely annihilated. That fight wasn't even close afterwards. Now, if they do get the initial kill, though, it's a totally different story. But they didn't manage to. Well, they did manage to get the Tiny, but you know, that's not what they were hoping for.
Collapse. Okay, we got a big epicenter from Toronto Tokyo. They do get the range racks. Looks like they will finally take out K1 on that Bloodseeker. So a good kill from Team Spirit. A Stinger. Oh my God, the blind Inkswell stun will cancel the TP. So they get something and they don't lose melee racks. Team Spirit showing a little bit of life here. The fact that epicenter was still up actually baffles me. Was not used in that last fight.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to remember exactly what their spellcasting looked like, but I think they did use the Blink Burrow Strike from Sand King on the initiation.
I like that. Again, they're going to try to take Roshan, and we talked about it earlier. They're much better at killing Rosh.
This one's
and this is kind of like a denial for a team that are up by a decent margin now. This is the Aegis and Shard. Question is who gets the Shard? Dirty. I like Slardar Shard, honestly.
Yep.
They might be giving it to him. We see the replay here. So let's pay attention to Sand King. Okay, he's in the trees right now. He just never goes for an the counter initiation here. So they know they lose the fight, so I guess he just holds it here. That makes sense.
If Beast Coast hadn't overextended there and lost K1, this would have been an amazing game position for them. But now that he died and they lost Roche, I actually think Team Spirit are back into a decent position. They were almost 10k gold behind. They actually were at 1 point 10k behind. Now it's just 4 plus an Aegis on their own side. Yeah, this is anyone's game again. That Bloodseeker kill is just so enormous. He's easily the top net worth of the game, and he did not have the buyback to protect Roshan, so
yep,
that's big.
So Shard for Slardar, bigger AoE on Crush, and it will apply Corrosive Haze to anybody you crush for 5 seconds, I believe. So
yep, that counters Lincoln's as well, right?
Yep, right.
It just bypasses it. It doesn't, correct me if I'm wrong here, when you crush, they just get it on them. It doesn't like, you know what I mean? It doesn't cast it as a spell on them.
Correct, it just goes on them.
Yeah, so Lincoln's can't block this.
I am 99.9% sure, because I am a Slardar lover myself.
That's quite sure.
Yes.
I would say.
Nothing in this world is 100%, Syndra.
That's true. I'm proud of you.
Even 1 + 1 = 2. It's not 100%.
Nope.
We could be in a simulation where we've just been programmed to think that's correct.
Anders will be so proud of you.
Sure. 4K lead for Beast Coast. As Toronto Tokyo gets the burrow off. He gets flame broken though. Pops the BKB and is just sitting inside his Sandstorm. As Smile use the rolling thunder. Looks like Toronto Tokyo still in the same area. Gets the epicenter off, but dies shortly after. Yotaro trying to find somebody. Going for Stinger now. Still has that Aegis in tow. Will barely get the kill on a support. And Smile taking care of the other supports on the other side of the map here. Maposhka, he actually misses the swashbuckle. Doesn't really matter though, as a very, very weird fight for Spirit, as they're just completely segregated, it feels like. Now Collapse. Trying to get away. Blink Dagger continually getting canceled by Whisper. Gets off the crush finally. Smile in the area, and this is likely to be another kill, so a full team wipe in favor of Beast Coast as K1 cleans up that melee racks, and they can just go for more.
Yeah, again, just not feeling the Sand King impact in these fights. Again, Toronto Tokyo just gets caught in this awkward position, and
Dire's middle tower.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but these fights are very similar, right? it's Beast Coast either get a first pick or Team Spirit go in and don't find the kill straight away. The fight ramps up, the BKBs run out, and it's just cleanup so easy for Pango and Bloodseeker. I love the way C-Smile played that fight. He zoned both supports. First he killed off the Grimstroke alone, and then he went straight over to that Shadow Demon. So very clearly the game plan here is you take care of the supports, and then Bad Rider helps protect K1 with that lasso onto the Slardar, and they keep just using toss defensively if necessary. Just very clean stuff from Beast Coast.
And now a very large 15k net worth lead for Beast Coast. They have 2 sets of racks. They can reset. Still needed to get that tier 2 in order to get megas overall. So Team Spirit will have another chance to defend, but it is looking very difficult. And remember, loser of this entire best of 3 is out of the majors. There's the crush. They're going on top of the Pango. He gets the Lincolns applied. He'll pop the BKB shortly after. Swatch as well. Doesn't really create that much distance, so trying to get off his ult. Finally does, but there's the soul mine. Nice counter again. And on the deck is the Pango for 95 seconds. Toronto, Tokyo. Pango's gonna live for a little bit longer here. There's the lasso now. They're isolating again. The CK. Avalanche comes out, but Gojira dies shortly after. Yataro spins very slowly thanks to that sticky napalm. K1 got a lot of damage though, as K1, like you said, still alive and kicking. Has the BKB, kills 1, kills 2, continuing again. Yataro has to reset. Flame Break brings him out. He's gonna tick down eventually. Triple kill for K1 and max buybacks now from Team Spirits. They still have this tier 2 to TP into. The Potion finally taken out as an ultra kill for K1. Can he get the rampage? Yataro though getting help from Collapse, and finally Team Spirit able to win something here, but again it's at a very serious cost as they are now down 18k, and Whisper looks like it'll be a full team wipe in favor of Team Spirit, but that cost Team Spirit dearly, Cinderin.
3 buybacks. They paid their position 1, their 3, and their 4. So if effectively they died 5 heroes and then used 3 buybacks in order to just, you know, try to break even. Man, just
Dire's middle tower.
Bloodseeker is a pretty big problem.
Oh yeah.
They did an admirable job at trying to defend that, but he's just rolling. He got the rupture off on the Sand King in the beginning of the fight, so Toronto Tokyo goes for Barrow Strike and dies from the travel distance. So he stunned into the Bloodseeker and actually healed him with that stun at the beginning of the fight. And K1 did a great job holding his BKB until it mattered the most, so he could go for that dive, get those 2 or 3 extra kills, and force 3 buybacks. So keep in mind that fight, Pango actually died early, right? He was soulbound and got taken out, and they still were able to fight just because the BKBs are down and they did the initial damage.
He did stay alive for a long time, so that made them chase him for quite a while.
That's all you want. That's all you want as Beast Coast. Drag out the fight and do damage over time, and you will come out victorious unless it's K1 getting killed first.
I mean, to be fair, even with those buybacks, that was an 18k lead about 30 seconds ago. It is 13k now, so they do make a little bit of a comeback here.
But there's just so little margin for error now. If any of these 3 heroes gets killed, you know you have about 100 seconds as Beast Coast to claim something big. You could delay and wait for Roche if you want to fight there. You could go for an offensive smoke. The game plan is pretty clear. Kill Slardar or kill CK and you just win. So
I don't know.
Either.
Did we have this Shadow Demon Ags in that last fight? Mosca has Aghanim Scepter, so triple charge to Demonic Purge. Shield Crash won't be doing anything if you can get it on him. I mean, this is a crazy, crazy item.
I think he wants to pile it onto Bloodseeker. I think he wants to stagger them just to slow him down. Like, this guy is
very good.
The key target. I think the Dispel in this game is not nearly as important as the slow. So just keep Bloodseeker immobile.
Breaking Thirst is kind of a big deal in these fights, right? He's making good work of that spell. We have a smoke down from Team Spirit. This might be the last attempt in this game. If they're not able to come out victorious in this little engagement, I do believe Beast Coast will take game 1.
They do have 2 wards placed here. If this smoke breaks around this high ground, it's perfect for them.
Well, that's a huge initiation. He gets off the shard though, and he is good to actually get something the entire ultimate. I don't know how he got that up in time. Lasso's going to cancel the TP. Collapse is dead. That is the first one for Team Spirit, but it's a big one because remember, a lot of these heroes have bought back. Toronto Tokyo able to get out, but now it's a 5 versus 3, and we'll see if they're able to defend.
Very quick fingers there from Chris, just instant roll up.
So it was a roll up into
He
his ult.
rolled
Okay,
up and then cast his ult. He just did it so fast that they didn't manage to get the opening they were looking for. The only counter they have to roll up is actually Slardar's bash. Otherwise, that rolling thunder is just going to come off every single time unless
The
they
Tokyo Epi. They're going to need to go in here. Gojira goes in a little bit deep. They know that Toronto Tokyo is here. The little short went on for a moment. There's the epicenter. Doing a decent amount of damage, but it's only to the support Tiny. Now he's completely surrounded and bursted. Team Spirit left with only 2 heroes. It looks like this is going to be the end of game 1, Cinder. So Beast Coast, the underdog, take game 1 in extremely good fashion. You have to be worried for Team Spirit. One more loss and they're out of this tournament. GGs are called. And like you said, one of the few teams that will pick up Bloodseeker early on. What do you pick to counter this? Because it worked out so well for Beast Coast.
Yeah, they tried to counter in lane, right? They specifically picked this Slardar to contest him in the laning stage. Didn't really find too much success. It was